Okay boys, welcome back to another video. In this one what we're going to be doing is fully breaking down the Orchard. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I think the Orchard is going to be one of the most overpowered POIs in the game, and also somebody actually recommended it to me. So this is a great chance for you boys to hop in the comments and recommend a POI that you would like me to do next. And if I've already done it, I will leave a playlist at the end for the full POI breakdown guide. Everything you need to know is in there, and it's definitely worth watching till the end. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. We're going to break the video into three parts. The part we're doing right now is explaining to you boys why I want to break down the Orchard, other than someone's suggestion. I want to point out the benefits, and then I'm going to go into part two, which is where I fully break down the loot route. Okay, that's talking like where you should land as an IGL, where your fragger should land, where everybody should land, and how to come together and how to loot the whole POI as effectively as possible. And trust me, that is usually the best part of these videos. And then number three is going to show you all the best ways to rotate out of here, depending on if you want to play for placement, if you want to W key, or you want to go psycho mode and just wipe the lobby and play extremely risky. I'll show you every single possibility you can do. So now, let's get started off with part one, and let's go straight into it right now, man. I don't need to make any cuts, so let me get out my black marker and show you what's going to happen. We have a POI right here, okay? This is the Orchard. This is what we're going to be breaking down. So it's a pretty nasty POI. You can tell off the bat it's good for wood. We know that. It's got great mechanical parts because there's a lot of cars around this area right here. But the main advantage of this POI is its functionability. And what I mean by that is, if you want to go super aggressive, okay, you can go into Colossal Crops right there. Okay, and you can get up some, like, you know, if you look at the size of these two POIs, okay, Colossal Crops is about, from, like, I know it doesn't look it on the map, but from being in both of these POIs, I would say Colossal Crops is easily about 2 times the size of the Orchard, which means it's going to take, on average, 2 times longer to loot. So I'm trying to keep it simple here. So that means you can loot this and rotate there and still kill them while they're looting. So that's very, very, like, if you want a W key, it's a very safe way to W key. You land offshore and you come in for the third party off spawn. But let's say you want to play passive. You can do the exact opposite and rotate straight up, farm some brick up here, which is a great spot for brick, and chill out. Play for your placement points, and even if zone isn't up here, it gives you the opportunity to veer off here to the river, get a boat, because boats all spawn here, and even in Craggy and even up here, and rotate all the way across the map. I know you boys can't see that on screen, but like, you can rotate all the way across. Vice versa, you can veer off here. Look, go for your chug jug truck, your slurp truck as you boys call them, and then here, get a boat, do the same thing, go over to Steamy, maybe hit the zip. So you got the option of the zip, and you've got the option of the Steamy stacks to bring you wherever you want to go, man. So you can come back all the way over to here, to this thing, and then from there you can go all the way into Colossal Crops. So depending on zone, if you want to W key to Steamy, which isn't a bad idea, believe it or not, if it's in zone, that's a great idea because you're W keying towards the edge of zone. So imagine circle is looking something a bit like this, okay? That's your zone, you're in zone. It's definitely worth W keying back to Steamy stacks because you can clean out Steamy, okay? And that's like, let me get rid of some of these lines. I don't want to be confusing any of you boys, okay? You know the rotation paths that you can take. But these are all the reasons why, okay? So I don't want to go too in depth. I'm just showing you why. And I will get back to more of this later. But I'm showing you that like you can come here, go back to Steamy, fight Steamy, and then come all the way back in a matter of like maybe 10-15 seconds. Hit the stack, fly across, hit this, and fly back, and you're back where you started. So you can play super fast paced with this playstyle. And not only that, like, look how close you are to Pleasant Park for kills. But yet, if you land Pleasant Park, it is probably, I would say, a 75-25 on if you come out there. Like 75% of the time, you're not coming out of Pleasant Park. And those 25% that you do are banging games. But look at this. Okay, you can land extremely passive and play some of the most hottest drops in the game from here, as well as play the complete opposite playstyle. So if you rotate out in this direction, you're playing super aggro. So I'm just going to put an A there. But yeah, if you rotate towards Craggy, if you rotate towards Steamy, even if you rotate towards Dirty, even rotating up here, you're playing super passive. So that's what I'm saying. You've got great drop spot for, depending on what loot you get, you can decide, okay, I have shit loot, let's play passive. Okay, I've cracked loot, let's play aggressive. And you can make that decision on the fly rather than the game, like going in, I'm going to play aggressive. And then you got to play aggressive, you get shit loot. That's what I'm trying to say. I want to get into part 2 and hop zoomed in on the map, show you the loot, show you the chests, and explain it to you very, very in-depthly. So let's get going, man. Let's go. Okay, boys. So we're here. We're going to start breaking down the actual POI and showing you where you should be landing if you're a duo, if you're a solo, if you're a trio. I'm going to explain it to you right now. So if you're new here, obviously the blue means an IGL. Okay, so if you're an IGL, you should be following the blue lines. If you're a fragger, you should be following the pink/purple lines. And then if you're a support player, you should be following the red lines. And obviously if you're a duo, you just pay attention to IGL and frag. If you're a trio, follow everything. If you're an IGL, just follow this. So that means if you're a solo, just follow this. So it's great for any type of game mode, and it's great for any type of player. I'm going to break it down fully for you right now. So I like to use my bit of intuition and my little vision and show you that there's different methods that you can pull this off. And see, it's tricky with these kind of POIs because they're built unevenly. They're not built to be balanced. They're kind of just thrown together. And the way I would do it straight away is you've got this house. Okay, believe it or not, there's only 2 chest spawns. And you've got here, there's only 2 chest spawns. So to maximize capabilities, what I would recommend doing, sorry boys, my throat is at me a bit today, is, let me get rid of this. Why is this doing that? Go away, nobody cares. Right, this is what you should be doing is, like, you know the way I split things up. So look at this. You've got this. You do have this, okay, but this kind of fits into 2 little playstyles. You can pull that like this, you get me? You can pull that like that. So see the way, there's different ways you can pull it. You can pull this as well. You can have this house comboed with all these chests. You get me? There's so many different ways you can combo it. So it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle. And this thing can be contested quite a lot. This building you'll find gets heavily contested. But when I swap it to weapons right now, it's going to kind of disorientate you a little bit. I'll show you real quick. Let me swap to this. Okay, weapons. And go away. Now, look at the weapons that are in those paths. You still win. There's 15 floor weapons here. And in that loot route, there's not a whole lot. There's 7, 15. But look, you've got 7 and 13. You've got 20 floor loot between this route. And that's very, very overpowered. And look at the space that these 7 of floor loot come across. It's not a lot. These 13 is spread throughout the whole building. These 7 is spread throughout this whole building. And then obviously the 10 within this building. But what you can also do is float upwards. So another example would be like that. Okay, so let me get rid of the other POIs because this is the one we want. Okay, trust me, after my little bit of a kind of look at this before I sat down to record, this is the POI we want. So I want to show you the vision that I have with this before I start breaking it down and showing you where to play what and who to do where, all that kind of questions. Is in here. This is a whole another POI that you can play. Like, you can play these 2 kind of as a collective. I'll show you how to do that right now. Look, I'll just skip all the bullshit and go straight to it. That's how we like to be over here. So, pull out with blue. As an IGL, we're going to have the IGL landing on this building. It's very important that the IGL lands here. Because it's a central building. So your IGL needs to get as much information as possible. By landing in the middle, you can check to see if people are contesting here. You can check to see if people are contesting here. And also the main building and the closest building. This one's going to be the most important to make sure to see if there's opponents landing there. If there is, you got to, be careful and let your teammates know. So that's why this one's going to be blue. I know the blue is hard to see, man. I kind of have to come up with a new color. But swapping from blue, let's swap to red because that's your support. Okay, you can see the color scheme down below. Support is also going to land with you. The reason why support is going to land with you, by the way, boys, these little circles inside the box means that that's where that specific role lands. Not on a tree, but within that box. And you're going to have to figure out the best ways to sort that building out. But what I suggest is someone lands on the right side, and then someone lands maybe the front left, and then someone splitting it kind of like that. So that way, the most optimum way. I know you're kind of getting all the chests over here, kind of, but you'll split the loot evenly upon you. It's just for as fast as possible, because you need to loot fast to have an opponent, like an upper hand on these boys. The boys that loot this house right here, look how small the house is compared to yours. That's why we're splitting this with 2 as well. So more than likely, it's going to be a 2v1, because no way there's 2 people going to land here. So you want to loot faster and get your loot better. You get me? So you're comfortable. There's a 2v1. You've looted faster, so you're interrupting while he's looting, which puts you at an extreme advantage because he's not ready to fight. You're letting him know you're ready to fight by probably hitting him heavy, and then he's going to realize it's a 2v1. So you can be very snappy like that. And on top of that, your fragger is going to land a bit back here because this tends to get contested at the odd time. So of all people, like I always say, that you want to get caught in a 1v2 or, a 1v1 that's a bit more risky, like a 50-50, is your fragger. You don't mind your fragger getting caught up in a fight like that because you're supposed to be the most mechanical player. So if anybody out of a team is going to win a 1v2, it's got to be your fragger. And if not, you got to really think about, is that a guy worth being my fragger if he cannot 1v2? Like, he doesn't have to 1v2, but he has to be very mechanically good. Okay, that's why you want them there. You're meant to be the brains, he's meant to be the mechanics. So now you can see my plan there. I'm going to leave them black lines there, and I'm going to swap to yellow. So yellow usually tends to mean as a team together. That's why I have it as the background here, because that's the whole team and they're on a yellow background. But yellow is where you boys should all meet up in this building right here. So you should wait for your fragger to catch up to you. And the great thing about the fragger landing below is he's isolated down here. So if people land with him, you two boys can push down, or one can stay here and the other one can push down. So then it's kind of just like moving pawns in a chess game. So example, IGL would stay here because it's a great view for everything to know if he's getting flanked. And then send your support down because that's what he's meant to do, to support this guy. And then it just rolls reversed. Instead of 2 here and 1 here, you're going to have 1 here and 2 there. So it makes it so much easier to make that play. But then when you boys are all looted and like all good, I suggest sending one player up this wing. Okay, because it's very important to get real estate. So real estate is just how much total control you have over the POI. So if you play the right side, you're going to have a lot of kind of control. You don't want to play the left side. The reason being is because these has a lot of trees here. If there's someone on this roof, or even this roof for the matter, let me swap to black again. If something's, they can see a clean, that wasn't black, but look, they can see a clean line of sight on you. There's no trees in the way from that rooftop, so you can get beamed in the open going for this chest. That's why we're choosing the right side, and it's just a lot neater, and you don't have to spread out as much. You want to stay compact because that's very important to the play style you need for this, to get this like down. Okay. And then again, if you want, you can have, let's say for example, your IGL cut in here. You get me? Your IGL cut in here. And let's say for example, you're going to let your fragger run on a bit, okay? Because your fragger is getting that whole building to himself, but he can never have too much loot, okay? So you're going to let your fragger run on. And I would say put your support in the middle of those two. Why? Because if there is somebody over here getting contested, your support can go over. And vice versa, if there's someone attacking the IGL, maybe from here looking down. I know this is the red again, but let's just say this guy is looking down, that's in this building. You don't notice he lands there because things like that happen. So you can be the support and pull towards your IGL to help him and stop him getting beamed. You get me? That's why you want to be in the middle, because it's an equal distance to run to help both of your teammates. I'm going so in depth right now, man. So please leave a like, man, and hit that sub button. But we're going to keep coming with this information. And if you look at the real estate you hold over them now, it's kind of like a 50-50, and there's a potential that you're going to have one of their teammates knocked. So then it's an easy win-win. So when you look at the way this is split, it's kind of split like, not even like that, but more like this. This is their real estate, and then that's yours. So it's kind of split like that. So when you look at how much land you own, your land is in this box. You tell me who owns more land. You get me? They own a lot of land. Don't get me wrong. But who owns more? This box or all of this strip? If you add up all those weapons, I can tell you that for a fact you're going to have more weapons on this side, including chests as well, than this side. Maybe not chests, actually. I wonder about that. 3. I think that's 2. It could be 3. Wait, I don't want to zoom in. I think it's 2 though. We'll say 3, 2, 1. So you have 4 chests. They have 4, 5, 6, 7 chests. Is that right? 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. But look at your floor loot. 7, 13. You have so much more floor loot and real estate. Like, think of the mechanical parts you can get that they can't get. Where's their mechanical parts in this whole route that they have over here? They don't have mechanical parts. You have this whole car lot right here, and you have the whole cars here, here, and here. You get me? They don't have that. So if you get one makeshift rifle, which is common, you are G, man. You are good to go. So there's ways you can play it. So now I want to show you how to rotate up out of there, and this is the last part of the video, man. So let's get her going, man. Let's get her going. Let's get her going. Okay, boys, we're back for part 3. And what I want to do right now, very quickly, it should only take 3 or 4 minutes to show you how to rotate out of the POIs. And in terms of riskness and stuff like that. That's not a word, but we're going to pretend it's a word. So you've got 3 different colors here. It's the same colors we used earlier, but they mean different things in this part of the video. I like keeping the same colors because it's easier to understand. The blue rotation routes, I guess is what I'm going to call them, that you see on your screen right now, they're from the most passive ways you can rotate. So if you're trying to fully avoid kills, that is the best way to do it, because, you know, avoid kills, avoid people, it's all the same thing. If you're playing for placement, play those blue lines. I'm going to explain them in a minute. And then if you want to play those pink lines and purple lines, what they mean is if you want to go for a fight, but you don't want to W key. You get me? You want like an easy fight and a slow fight, just to pick up 1 or 2, maybe a max of 4 kills. Maybe it like in solos you want to pick up 3 or 4 kills. That's the route. In duos you want to pick up 3 or 4 kills. That's the route, and vice versa. In trios might be more like 6 people because of 2 teams. They're the ways you need to play. And then red is like if you want a W key, that's how you do it. If your like goal is loot and then go for kills, that's the best way to do it. Now, I'll show you why this route and this POI is so good for W keying first. First things first is look how close these 2 POIs are. These are 2 of the most hostile POIs in the game. You've got Pleasant Park and you've got Colossal Crops. And with the ability of cars in the game, how quickly as a trio could you loot this whole POI, kill a team if there's a team, if not, even if you're a solo, think of the same thing, but I'm going to be referencing a trio. Even if you're a duo, think the same thing, but trios, let's say you land here, how quickly you could loot this is insane. You get it all up, you get a car, you go over to Pleasant Park, you mark Pleasant Park. Okay, and even like you could go into Colossal Crops if you wanted to, but I'd personally go Pleasant Park because it's a little bit more safer. In terms of like who rotates out to Pleasant Park. The only people that rotate out to Pleasant Park is maybe Boney Burbs rotating up if it's in zone. If not, Boney Burbs players will sit on the edge and wait for you either around or just generally around this area. So look what happens though as well. You've created a little W key route if you wanted to play like this. Now I know you can't see this full POI, so I'll just put a little box around it. But look what you've created yourself right now, man. You've created yourself basically an ecosystem. Obviously the spire is down there. Unfortunately, I don't have it on the map. But let's just even cut the spire out. Okay, look at this rotation route you have right now. Look at that. You could come off spawn into Pleasant Park, okay? Because more than likely Pleasant Park, if out of any of these POIs, Pleasant Park is most likely not to be in zone. You get Pleasant Park, you rotate into Boney Burbs, which has a 50-50, you know, it's pretty central, so it's got a 50-50 chance of being in zone. And then you've got Colossal Crops, which also has a 50-50 of being in zone. So you can go to Pleasant, clean up Pleasant fast, rotate to Boney Burbs, take your time because there might be a few people. And then by the time you get to Colossal Crops, maybe, just maybe zone has closed in like that. If all goes well, or similar to this. And people in Colossal Crops, people have rotated in from the rest of the map into Colossal Crops. So you can pick up some kills. So there's loads of ways you can W key. And then again, if you want that kind of hybrid W key playstyle, you want to get kills, but you want to not risk your whole game because endgame is a priority for you. You can still play Craggy. And you can still play Steamy. You can even play Dirty. Now, you can't probably play all of these at the same time. There is ways to play Steamy and Dirty with the zip lines and maximize your kills if zone's with you. It's doable, you know. But as far as if you want to get, let's say you get cracked loot. So let's put checkbox in here. You get cracked loot and you don't want to risk your whole game going sicko mode against some kids landing Colossal Crops. So you want to rotate up the Craggy Cliffs. You know, players that are on these POIs, by the way, there might not be as many players, but the players there are going to be more quality players. But they might be mechanically good. That doesn't necessarily mean they're smart. Okay? Because they could be intelligent players, but they're not smart players. Because smart players wouldn't land directly on the edge. Okay? They're landing there because they're scared. If there's people in these POIs straight on the edge, it's a smart play, but they're making that smart play because they're scared. And what you're doing is being intelligent and breathing that they are not confident. Who would land out here? You get me? Who would land out here? Why? Why would you land out here? You want to avoid fights, okay? And you want to avoid fights so much that you land in these shitty POIs. They're great for loot and stuff, but you get what I'm saying? But they're not confident. That's why they're landing there. They're avoiding fights. Obviously, it's a confident, like, get me? It's a confidence thing. So you be big balls. You land here, which is a confident play. You take this POI. It's a small POI, and then because you're central in most of these locations, you can rotate whatever way you want. Depending on the loot you get, you can adapt to a different playstyle. You'd be like, oh, I got shit loot. Let's play ultimate placement. Okay, I have okay loot. I can take a Craggy Cliffs fight. You get me? I have cracked loot. Let's go to Pleasant Park right now. I have cracked loot and I'm feeling myself. Let's go to Colossal Crops. You can make so many different plays from it. Cars are in the game, so they should be abused, and you can get from each POI. Even if you don't use a car, you can still run to Pleasant Park in 30-40 seconds. It's insanely abusive, and you should be abusing it. On top of that, look at these rotates up at the north. These are the passive plays. This is the last thing I'm going to say before I end the video, but the passive plays right here, man. you can play super passive. You rotate straight up. Even if you rotate a bit like this, it's so overpowered because you've got that chug jug truck right here. And you can play up and around Steamy. And you can play straight up, veer off to the left, depending on zone, and play super passive over here. Like, let me pull out the black. You can play super passive. If you follow that rotation path right here, you can play super passive over this side of the map, right up in here. Anywhere up here is super like placement-y. Same with over here in this corner. You can be vibing up here, vibing around here. If you're chilling here, that's high ground, you can be getting placement points. Vice versa, up around here, less people tend to go. Even around this area, see, it's all on the edge of the map. When you do this, boom. Look at that. Look what that is. It's all the edge of the map. But you can do it in a way where you can still get kills and play for your placement points endgame. So overpowered. Now, look. I want to end this video right now. I'm going to link those 2 video things I was talking about. Well, one is going to be my rotation playlist. And then the other one is the POI breakdown playlist, where all of the videos like this will be located for you to find your own POI and see what I'm doing with it. On top of that, please make sure you do hit that sub button, man, and use that creator code if you want to. Even if you don't use mine, use somebody's. Use somebody's, because it helps us out so much, man. I'm out here, man. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me your time. I'm out.